Fable's co-creator says he, quote, ripped off Devil May Cry to create the Xbox RPG's world, which is just, it's just really funny. So, it's just funny. What he said was, quote, when you're feeling lost, steal it. 100% rip off from another game. The full quote is, I'm sure everybody knows this hack already, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, on the off chance that it saves someone from going completely off the rails during their development. It's a hint about scope. When you're feeling lost, steal it. 100% steal it off of another game. Of course, Fable doesn't do that, at least not in the way you're thinking. The themes, ideas, and the story of the 2004 RPG are entirely different from Devil May Cry, but the game's creator revealed that it almost spiraled out of control until he turned to Devil May Cry for an idea about the game's scope. Quote, how did the world of Fable become that size? Because I'd played Devil May Cry and noticed that the world was something like 82 zones. It didn't seem excessive. It reused and recontextualized areas. It worked for a relatively short but high quality game. I literally counted the number of zones, the size of those zones, and the average time spent in those zones, and used that to block out the entire world of Albion. At the time, we were spiraling out of control, convinced we had to make something big, whatever that meant. Literally copying the scope of Devil May Cry, the interaction density of Silent Hill, and the encounter style of the first Way of the Samurai changed Fable from a floppy, undefined, never-ending death march to something that we could actually complete without having ever worked on a 3D game. It's just interesting, like, you know, to think that the developer actually sat down and like counted out zones and then did the math on how much time you spend in the zones and then spread it out and figured out, okay, well, what does this look like if we're actually trying to manage it? And so while initially it seems like very much a scandalous title, it's actually not that big of a deal. It's just like, yeah, we were hitting a wall. We didn't know what to do. So we basically just looked at other games that we liked, and then we reevaluated them and tried to figure it out. Yeah, benchmarking. Yeah, you could call it benchmarking. It's also inspiration, right? Inspiration. It's not stealing, it's inspiration. I don't, at this point, nothing original has really been done in the world of video games. So it's all kind of reworkings or furthering ideas from previous games. Even something like Elden Ring, which people love to death, including myself. Elden Ring is basically just a merger of two different styles of games. It's like the Soulsborne style of game mixed with an open world adventure game, and then you just merge those together, and they do it very, very well, and it works really well. So it's like a refined coagulation.